Hey athletes, so in regards to the stair-stepper method, there's been a few questions, okay? And here are my answers to that. You can have the same rep schemes forever, okay? Just so long as you're changing something about what it is that you're doing. So check out our video on how to increase your intensity, because sets, reps, and weight, those are just three aspects. We can add tempo, we can add pauses, we can change the rest intervals. There's so many things that we can change other than just reps, sets, and weight, okay? If you figure out a way that's working for you, why would you change that skeleton structure? So when we're talking about training, if you're doing 10 weeks of hypertrophy, right? 4-week training, with an increase in weight, plus you're deloading and then you're doing it again. So we call it 2 blocks, right? And again, your blocks might end up only being 4-week blocks, right? You don't have to do a 5-week block. If you like doing, week 1 is an easier week, then 2, 3, 4 is really hard, and then you back down, cool, that's how I do it. But 5 weeks just seems to work better for most people. Then strength. Again, you might do 1 or 2 blocks. You don't have to spend 2 blocks of training into your strength phase, okay? Especially if your goal is losing weight, you don't really need to spend that much time until you feel or until you find out that you go through a strength phase and a peaking phase. Let's say you only do 1 block of each. If your hypertrophy weight doesn't start heavier, maybe you do need to spend a little bit more time in your strength phase so that your body can adapt around more weight. And then you can take that weight and add it to your hypertrophy. So again, unless you have to, don't change anything. Again, 1 block of strength might be good enough, but again, if you're not getting stronger, you might need 2 blocks or 2 blocks of peaking, but most likely not. So your peak is only going to be about 5 weeks, 1 block. Now, I love for hypertrophy doing either 4 sets of 6 or 3 sets of 8, maybe even 4 sets of 8, when I'm doing my first exercise, okay? For my first. For my second exercise, I drop down the repetitions, okay? I drop down the intensity, I drop down the sets, and maybe increase my repetitions. So, let's say it's squat day. You're going from back squats to leg press. Maybe you do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps here. And then for your third exercise, because on a leg day, who needs more than 3? If you need more than 3, you're doing it wrong, probably, okay? You don't need 15 exercises, guys. If you do 3 or 4 really good quality exercises and give it everything you possibly have, that's enough. If you can walk to your car afterwards, I congratulate you because you're stronger than I am. So now let's say we throw in some type of a hamstring exercise, hamstring curls, whatever. You might end up saying, you know what? I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 to 12, okay? For my first exercise, I do 4 sets of 6 or 3 sets of 8, depending. If I'm in a leg phase, I might do 4 sets of 6, and then all of my others, so my upper exercises, I might do 3 sets of 6 or 3 sets of 8, like it says here, because doing a little bit more intensity, for me, helps me grow a little bit more. And then for my other exercises, when I'm not concentrating on my legs for this phase, I'll do less volume because, again, I want to dedicate the most amount of volume I can to my legs and only enough volume to my upper body to make sure that I maintain the look or the size, okay? Then, for my second exercise, I might do, again, 3 sets of 8 to 10 for my upper. And then I might do 3 sets of 10 to 12 if I'm working, let's say, my chest. I might do maybe flat bench 6s or 8s, okay? And then I might do incline 8s or 10s. And then for maybe shoulder presses or something, if I'm just trying to develop that, maybe I'll do 10s to 12s, okay? Then in strength, what I'm going to think, okay, so for my first exercise, because I'm trying to still gain size or I'm still trying to lose weight, you might want to think about doing 3 to 5 sets of 5 to 3 reps. Okay, now you could do 5 sets of 3. You could do 5 sets of 5. You could do 3 sets of 5, 3 sets of 3. But again, a little higher volume will help you lose more weight or gain some more muscle. And again, depending upon the exercise that come to follow, your sets and reps are going to change a little bit. Now, here's where some of the confusion is. Just because you're in a strength phase doesn't mean you can't do sets of 6, 8s, and 10s after you've done some strength exercise. So again, let's talk squats. Maybe you did 5 sets of 3, okay? You just did 5 sets of 3 squats. Now you're gonna go to the leg press. You can still keep some volume and you could do 4 sets of 6. You could do 3 sets of 8 still, okay? That's not that big of a deal. We just wanna make sure that our first exercise is strength-based, then we can do some volume type training. Then in our third exercise, we might decide again, hey, maybe I like the 3 sets of 8. Maybe I'll do 10s or 12s. And you don't have to do 3 sets. You could do 4 sets. You could do 5 sets. Just make sure you're tracking your volume. Because if all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, every time I get to the 5th set, I feel like I'm going to die. And then tomorrow's workout always suffers. Try reducing 1 set. Maybe you only do a 4th set. And then you can see what it feels like the next week. Check out our video on how many sets you should do a week to get a little bit more understanding of this training process. Then when you're peaking, again, you might decide, hey, my peak to me is to see what I can do for 3 sets of 3, or to do a 3 rep max, or blah, 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 a 1 rep max, a 5 rep max, whatever, anything 5 or less reps. But that's only for my first exercise. My second exercise, you know what? I liked that, 4 sets of 5 that I did last phase. Cool. You could do 4 sets of 5. Again, let's talk legs. You might find a 3 rep max squat. That's it. Then you're going to do a little bit of volume on your leg press. Maybe you do 3 sets, maybe you do 4 sets of 5 on the leg press, and then in your third exercise, maybe you really want to hammer out those quads, and you do 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps of lunges, okay? So again, the confusion was that you had to do 6 or more on everything. No. Just really for the hypertrophy block, okay? And you know what? There are some people that in their strength block, they gain as much muscle as their hypertrophy just because of this hybrid style training. Starting in a relative 3 to 5 rep range, doing some volume there, and then still adding more volume. So for some people, they're ultimately doing 4 blocks of hypertrophy training. But remember, you don't have to. You could do 2 blocks where you're doing higher volume. You could do 1 block of higher volume on purpose. And then you might do 2 blocks here with 5 sets of 5 or whatever. And then you do your 5 weeks of peaking and then you start over. Remember, everybody is different. I wish I could just say, you know what? You can have this program and it's going to perfectly make you lose weight and it'll never do you wrong. It'll never do you harm. But again, this is only one aspect. If your nutrition sucks, guess what? You're going to get fat. You're going to get really skinny, depending upon how your nutrition is, okay? So it's all up to balancing out what you put in your mouth and how much weight you put on the bar, in your hands, whatever. Take care of yourself, guys, and be smart when it comes to your training.